What's happening, guys? Welcome to the first edition of Leftover Lies, which is a new segment that I'm going to be doing every so often, hosted by yours truly, Jared Weiss, on the Jared and James channel. And if you guys didn't know, that must mean that you're not subscribed to the channel, so you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment, let me know what you guys think of this video. Follow me on every platform. I post regularly everywhere, so check me out wherever you guys listen to content. I'm there. So, just a little bit of a backstory as to why I wanted to introduce this new segment to the channel. Since preparing for all the Rabbit Hole Roundup episodes, which have been fantastic with myself and RJ, aka the Nudnik, as well as preparing for all my Hard Truths videos, which are usually a deep dive into one particular conspiracy or one particular truth-based subject, and of course the Rabbit Hole Roundups. As you know, we go deep into these conspiracies, and also from listening to plenty of amazing podcasts that are out there, whether it's Tinfoil Hat, whether it's The Way Forward, whether it's My Family Thinks I'm Crazy, whether it's Eddie Bravo's podcast, whether it's Sean Hibbler's podcast we just had on the channel recently at the time of filming this video. You guys have to check that out if you haven't already. It's incredible. He went deep, he crushed it. He's a truther legend, as many of you guys know. And also by following plenty of these super interesting accounts, whether it be on TikTok, Instagram, etc, etc. There's so many interesting conspiracy topics that are out there these days that have a lot of truth to them. And so in doing all of the preparation for all these different episodes, I've discovered that there's also a lot of leftovers that I don't ever get to cover. There's still always so much more. I thought to myself, why not introduce a new segment? And let's call it the Leftover Lies. We're gonna wrap up some of the leftovers.
$39.95. Impossible! If I buy one, will you two stop talking in those annoying voices?
Sorry for all the funny food references, if I do say so myself. All the punny food references. So maybe I'll film these episodes once a month, sometimes once every few weeks, or maybe this will be the only one that I ever do, but we'll see. We're gonna have a lot of fun with this. This is my channel, so as far as I see it, I get to be as creative as I want. I get to post whatever type of content my heart desires, whether it be fitness, whether it be sports, whether it be motivational, whether it be hard truths, whether it be conspiracies. It all ties into getting to know me, and it's all interesting stuff as far as I see it. I hope that you guys can enjoy my variety of content, and I hope that you guys can come along for all the rides I take you on. And keep in mind, some of these topics we may address in future Rabbit Hole Roundups, or possibly prior to these videos coming out, maybe we'll have already addressed them. But the purpose of this is to give you guys bite-sized fun conspiracies, or to maybe even get you watching our Rabbit Hole Roundups, where we go deeper into some of these topics and issues, as well as my Hard Truths videos. So without further ado, let's get right into this first episode, Leftover Lies. Hope you guys came in hungry. First off, the first lie I want to get into, or the first conspiracy I want to address, is supposedly there was a space laser that came in from 10 million miles away, according to NASA.
Good one, Patrick.
Now, also according to NASA, the sun is 93 million miles away, which if you guys have watched any of my Hard Truths or the episode with Sean Hibbler where we spoke about how the sun is local, it is not 93 million miles away. Otherwise, why would moving over a few degrees, you could be super hot and then you move over a few degrees and all of a sudden, like, you're not sweating anymore?
The official story is 93 million miles away. Wait a minute. Why am I sweating balls? Why is it when it's noon and I'm sweating? Why is that same sun that's 93 million miles away a few degrees over here and now I'm like, oh, I'm not hot anymore?
Right.
Because it's local. Okay. I mean, it's like, I can't make this stuff up, how these people just claim like, well, it's the tilt of the thing, of the hook, of the thing, of the thing, of the oh yeah, I always tell people, I went to kindergarten. I don't remember it like you do, but tell me again.
And also, all it takes is simple geometry to look at the two sides of a flat triangle, calculate the rays of the sun and how far away they are, and it's not 93 million miles away. But I believe that if you're actually smart enough and if you actually critically think for yourself, why would it be impressive for a space laser message to come from 10 million miles away when, according to NASA, the sun is 93 million miles away, and according to NASA also, the planets are light years away?
To infinity and beyond!
Something sounds kind of fishy there, if you ask me. Huh. And I was actually thinking about this the other day. So like, when you're one of the truthers, when you're someone who's looked into the history of NASA and how they were founded by Nazis and how NASA basically stands for not a space agency, it's essentially a money laundering operation, and it's an operation that gets us looking upward for space as opposed to outward. But I thought of the perfect comparison for anything that comes out of NASA. So whenever I read one of these articles claiming that NASA found new life, or found anything basically, I think back to the Billy Madison clip where the bus driver is saying to Billy how he knows the guy who got with Veronica Vaughn.
Dad,
Veronica Vaughn is one piece of ace.
And then Billy goes, no you didn't. And then the bus driver goes, well no he didn't. But you can imagine what it would be like if they did, right? Huh?
Him and her got it on. Woo!
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. But you can imagine what it'd be like if they did, right? Huh? Huh?
And then Billy pats him on the back. That's a perfect comparison here. It's like, no, NASA, you didn't discover anything. No, you didn't. But you can imagine it'd be like if they did, right? Huh? Next up, another interesting theory that I heard probably a few months ago now actually, but like I never got to cover it, was the George Bush first pitch theory. This one goes credits to Sam Tripoli, one of my favorite podcasters, if not my favorite, and Eddie Bravo was on this podcast. So now, the last time that George Bush threw out the first pitch in the World Series was right after 9/11.
Mr. President.
And who played in that World Series? The Yankees versus the Diamondbacks. Who threw out the first pitch in the World Series this year? George Bush once again.
George W. Bush Rodriguez.
Who's a scumbag, who's a war criminal, who's done all these awful things, but yet people still clap for him and celebrate him as if he's a good guy. This year's World Series, it was the Rangers versus the Diamondbacks. And this was the 119th World Series. What's 119 backwards? 9/11. And if you want to take it a step further, what were they calling the whole Israel-Hamas this year? Israel's 9/11? And who was involved in the first 9/11 attack for all the truth seekers out there? I'm just saying, this is not me criticizing any of the people, this is me criticizing the government and the people in power who initiate these attacks and all these events. And in the first game of this year's World Series, the tying run was hit in the 9th inning, and the winning hit was in the 11th inning.
Garcia sends him the other way. That sends Carroll back. He's at the wall, and the legend.
And if any of you guys watched my Hard Truths video talking about how pro sports have definitely been rigged and manipulated in a lot of ways, could this be a hint towards that? And as we all know, the Freemasons love to use numbers and numerology and love the 9/11 number. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Next up, we have a piece that was taken from the My Family Thinks I'm Crazy podcast a few weeks ago by the time this video comes out. And this was brought up by Cosmic Peach, who I would definitely love to have on this podcast at some point, or on the Rabbit Hole Roundup. But she was talking with Mark Steves, she was talking about all these Jim Carrey movies. And something that I found very interesting was when she brought up the movie Liar Liar.
He's a pedantic, pontificating, pretentious bastard, a belligerent old fart, a worthless, steaming pile of cow dung.
What happens in that movie is that Jim Carrey's son in that movie makes a wish that his dad can no longer lie.
I wish that for only one day Dad couldn't tell a lie.
But according to Cosmic Peach, Jim Carrey has been trying to expose the Illuminati, has been trying to expose Hollywood for all these years. And so, what movie comes out after Liar Liar for Jim Carrey? The very next movie was The Truman Show, which for any of my fellow critical thinkers, truth seekers out there, Truman Show has a lot of interesting symbolism, has a lot of interesting hard truths within there. For instance, this idea of more land.
Why do you think that Truman has never come close to discovering the true nature of his world until now?
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
And possibly even showing us the flat earth. So the fact that Liar Liar comes out and Jim Carrey is no longer allowed to tell a lie, and then right after that you have The Truman Show come out.
There's no more truth out there than there is in the world I created for you. That's why you can't leave.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Interesting stuff right there. Moving on. Football player A.J. Brown of the Philadelphia Eagles recently spoke about how he believes the earth is flat too. He spoke about how all these rocket launches end up going, if you actually look at all the flight paths of the rocket launches, they always end up going in the water. As quoted, A.J. Brown said, "Have you ever paid attention to rockets when they take off? I want you to look up rockets taking off and see the angle it takes off at, and wonder why it never goes straight in the air." He may be on something here. And once again, if you guys haven't already, watch my episode with Sean Hibbler where he absolutely crushes this topic. AJ Brown, you might be a fellow truther. Don't run away from this. embrace it, embrace who you are, keep it going.
The Force is strong with this one.
Because you are very correct. We are, as I've spoken about on here in the past, we are on a flat, motionless plane. Now I'm rotating. Just use your senses, use your intuition, and then look into the whole Rockefeller education system and why all this stuff has been promoted, and the whole idea behind the globe Earth being to get us away from God and to make us think that we all just landed here by accident from this Big Bang, which has never been proven, and to get us to believe in evolution, etc., etc. None of it adds up if you actually look into the math.
It just don't add up!
Or if you look into the spiritual aspects as well. Next up, we have this new concept that psychologists are talking about. I saw this on TikTok, called the pandemic skip, which is essentially referring to this idea that during the whole pandemic, scamdemic, you guys already know my thoughts on that. But this idea that people basically feel as if they lost those 3 years and essentially just skipped right ahead, but like didn't actually experience those 3 years. Now, being someone who loves and watches all the Marvel movies,
Avengers!
Assemble.
I find this eerily similar to the whole blip idea that happens in Avengers Infinity War, and then in the subsequent Spider-Man movie, and then Endgame. And if you guys watch any of my videos on the predictive programming in the Marvel universe and in the Marvel movies, could this have been predictive programming us to be okay and to see this idea of blipping out?
Where'd he go?
Steve?
No. And skipping time and then just like coming back.
Over 5 years ago, half of all life in the universe, including our own Midtown High, was wiped from existence. A band of brave heroes brought us back. They called it the blip. Those of us who blipped away came back the same age, but our classmates that didn't blip had grown 5 years older.
To a later time as normal. Another bite-sized conspiracy for you guys to look into. Next up, we have this idea that Abraham Lincoln has a huge famous quote talking about the presence of giants and Nephilim. Let's watch. This clip is courtesy of Demon Erasers.
Here it is. The eyes of that species of extinct giants. Wait, what extinct giants? Whose bones fill the mounds of America? Wait, what mounds? Is that the Indian burial mounds that we find all over the place that we used to dig into and find giant remains? Have gazed on Niagara Falls, as our eyes do now. Contemporary with the whole race of men. Wait a second. Hold the phone. Contemporary with the whole race of men?
Could this mean that giants were living alongside men? Interesting pictures here too, which I'm going to post up on the screen.
Does this mean that this was another race of beings, of giants, that used to be here, that gazed on Niagara Falls because we found their remains in the Indian burial mounds? See, the interesting thing here is he's not talking about a race of giants. He's actually talking about how big and beautiful and amazing Niagara Falls was. Because just about 200 years ago, everyone knew that there was a race of giant people that lived in America. And Abraham Lincoln was simply referring to that group of giant people because it was common knowledge. But you didn't learn about that in your school books, did you?
The Rockefeller education system teaches about this? I don't think so.
So.
Abraham Lincoln knew that the Bible had a lot of truth in it, and once again, our taught history gets proven as false, and there's a lot more truth to the Nephilim and to this giant race of humans, which, as Sean Hibbler mentioned once again, this idea that giants actually built all these amazing structures and that our ancestors are actually way bigger than we are. Interesting stuff. Now, to close up this first edition of The Leftover Lies, and I hope you guys are enjoying it, I hope you guys are having fun with it, as I am, I want to bring up this wild TikTok I saw talking about the Mandela effect and the movie Shazam. This one's gonna blow your minds. Let's watch together.
If you remember watching Shazam in the 90s with Sinbad, the actor, well, the movie never existed.
You all remember a movie called Shazam with Sinbad playing a genie? You know what? The movie was never real. It was, the rumor started in 2009. I don't know where it came from, but it's not real.
So, they're saying that this movie Shazam originally came out several years ago, but the Hollywood people in power, are saying that it was never made. But a lot of people happen to remember this. Interesting.
Millions of people remember watching this movie, but it never existed. Apparently, it's a Mandela effect, a collective false memory of something that a lot of people remember, but it never happened. Just like, for instance, the Mandela effects of the Monopoly guy with the monocle, the Berenstein Bears with an E, and George the monkey with the tail. These things never happened. And the thing is, I recently found videos of people who actually have a VHS tape of the Shazam.
I still don't
Shazam
understand the whole issue with this movie Shazam.
There's people who actually
with
have a
Sinbad.
VHS tape showing
If it
this
never
movie
existed,
Shazam
how
with this
come
guy
a lot of people
Sinbad. How
still
could they have a
have the
tape if it was
VHS
never
tape?
made? And how
Are
is
we
it
in a
possible that
different
millions of people
timeline?
remember
Time
it?
travel? Parallel universe? What's going on?
But yet it never existed.
Strange, isn't it? But it gets even stranger. I found an original scene from the Shazam movie. In it, several Mandela effects.
Bizarre.
What are you doing? Dad
Some
couldn't
scary
have thrown
stuff.
out all of Mom's stuff. He just couldn't have. James, there's gotta be something he forgot here.
And this is
Something
where it gets
real.
absolutely
You remember her
wild. This part absolutely blew my mind.
George the monkey with the tail. What?
First up, they're showing Curious George
We
the
have our
monkey with the
memories.
tail, which is a
They're
common
real.
Mandela effect. I
No
do that
one
a
can
lot of
take
people
that
talk
from
about.
Yeah, clean this up. Can you imagine if Dad saw this mess?
Really hooked on them.
Bless you. What is that?
Bernstein Bears.
Berenstein
continue.
Bears
Another
with an
very
E.
common Mandela effect
What?
that people talk about, that a lot of people remember.
Nelson Mandela dead at 68.
That's insane. Now they're showing Nelson Mandela on a newspaper and showing him dead at 68. This is some wild stuff.
Sure took you long enough, Tina. Wait, you're not Tina.
Kidnapper! Wait, you knew her mom?
To make me my own dinosaur.
Last but not least, Carmen Sandiego with a yellow suit. Why would someone leave so many Mandela effects inside of a movie that never existed? What is going on here? Time travel or what?
That is absolutely mind-blowing. I hope that you guys found this episode interesting. I hope that you guys enjoyed the first episode of Leftover Lies. I hope that you guys enjoyed this concept of the bite-sized conspiracies. And I hope that you guys check out all my Hard Truths videos and all my Rabbit Hole Roundups with RJ, where we go even deeper into the conspiracy world. But let me know your thoughts on how I did. Let me know if you guys found these as interesting as I did. Anyways, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Be sure to drop a like, leave a comment, let me know what you guys think. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace. And let me know if you guys want to see more of these, because I had a lot of fun making this. So I might start making these more often. Or maybe I'll just do them like once a month. Or whenever I have a plethora of leftovers. So I hope that you guys came hungry for the leftovers and are leaving happy. Catch you guys next time. Peace.